Support for today's video comes from Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Use code TIFO at checkout to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Real Madrid are faced with a near impossible task this summer. Sergio Ramos has left the club, taking his 5 La Liga titles and 4 Champions League wins with him. Somehow then, the club must replace a centre-back with a rare set of abilities and an iconic player who was and remains a symbol of modern Real Madrid. This is also a challenge that they face when the club's finances are anything but healthy and when the wage bill is already stretched, meaning that they'll almost certainly have to make compromises. In his prime, Ramos was the perfect modern defender. He was the finest passing centre-half of his generation and arguably the best ball carrier from deep of that era too. He could be impulsive and rash without the ball, and his disciplinary record is something that Real won't be looking to replicate, but his game was built on anticipation, confidence, and complete conviction in his ability. And it would be difficult to design a player who would more closely fit the idea of what Real Madrid is. Of course, a further complication is that new head coach Carlo Ancelotti is inheriting an aging team. Luka Modric is in his mid-30s, Toni Kroos is just a few years younger, and yet Real remain dependent upon their influence in midfield. It means that Ramos' successor will likely face a great deal of change in front of him in the coming years, and in the short term, disruption alongside him. The club will sell Rafael Varane this summer and have to depend on a brand new centre-back partnership next season, possibly including David Alaba, who's just joined from Bayern Munich. So, in the first instance, they are looking for someone who mimics Sergio Ramos' technical abilities, a progressive centre-back with all the right distributional attributes, and in the second, we're also after someone resilient who has the capacity to adapt to change, cope with flux, and be a cornerstone player during a difficult period. Character is extremely important then, and especially so given the inevitable comparisons with Ramos and everything that he managed to achieve. The most obvious place to look would be another club with financial issues. Inter Milan's nebulous ownership situation has weakened their negotiating position and has likely lowered Milan Skriniar's asking price. Skriniar does not have the same personality as Sergio Ramos. He is not as flamboyant and he's certainly not as entertaining on the pitch. But there are more similarities than assumed. Skriniar is an excellent passer across short and medium ranges, and while he can look rugged and more like an old-fashioned stopper, he's actually more than competent at carrying the ball forwards, beyond the press, and sometimes into the attacking zones against a deeper-lying opponent. So while nobody would ever confuse him with Ramos, he does possess Ramos-like qualities, including being a target from attacking set pieces. He's also very physical. He's only 187 centimeters tall, but he is a confrontational and tough defender. And while Ramos had that quality too, it's something that the Real defence has been lacking and will need, particularly in the Champions League. Domestically, Real Madrid only conceded 28 goals in La Liga last season, only 3 fewer than champions Atletico Madrid, but nevertheless 13 of those goals were conceded either at set pieces or from the penalty spot. And that suggests not only a need for an organiser, which Skriniar is, but also an improvement in the technical quality of the defending, which he would also provide. The rise of Wolfsburg's Maxence Lacroix has been sudden and surprising. He has adapted seamlessly to life in the Bundesliga after arriving from Sochaux in 2020, despite having never played top-flight football before. His defensive contribution was very healthy, and at 21, he already looks like one of the best right-sided centre-backs in Germany. In addition to which, his long passing was very effective, and while his ball carrying isn't smooth in the way that Ramos's has always been, that's only an aesthetic issue. He has the touch and strength to combat and evade a high press, and like Ramos, the mobility and speed to cope with all but the very quickest centre-forwards. He's made one quantum leap in the game already, which suggests that he could make another. However, this breakthrough season did see him paired with Bundesliga veteran John Brooks in central defence, and that certainly would have made the transition easier. David Alaba is new to La Liga, but he could theoretically provide similar support and ease Lacroix's transition in the same way. Now, he would be a gamble, and an expensive one too, but he's of a similar age to many of Real's coming generation, and could be part of a nucleus which serves them well for years. Now, a more conservative option could be Toby Alderweireld. At 32, his prime is obviously behind him, but he would be a capable placeholder until Real's finances improve, and they return to a position from which they could make a major, more long-term signing. In addition to which, with Spurs out of the Champions League and needing to sell before they can buy, the fee is unlikely to be a problem. And there's also an argument that Alderweireld has been unfairly damaged by Tottenham's decline. While he's been surrounded by hapless performances on both sides, he remains a penetrative long-range passer who can target the area behind the opposing defence or players in space on either side. And in isolation, he's also been more than competent. As the European Championship showed, he remains very resilient in the air and rarely leaves his feet. And while his speed has declined in recent years, pairing him with Alaba would offset that issue, creating a duo that wouldn't be perfect but would allow Real to remain competitive during a difficult period for low cost. Today's video was sponsored by Manscaped, and I'm here to tell you to use the right tools for a very important job. Now, we all know about the classic Lawnmower 3.0 for trimming below the belt, but Manscaped haven't stopped there. What about the Weed Whacker? This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent those nicks, snags and tugs so you can look forward to whacking those weeds. And what about the Crop Preserver? It's an anti-chafing deodorant and moisturizer. Now that it's starting to heat up outside, you can make sure that you're gliding around smoothly. There's also the Crop Reviver, a spray-on toner with a super fresh smell, and even a new refined cologne signature scent, so that you can smell good and feel good this spring. So, please visit manscaped.com and use the offer code TIFO to get 20% off and free shipping. Because it's spring cleaning time, and your balls will thank you.